What's going on, guys? Welcome to Tech Savvy Buyer. So you're looking for an alternative to a Scuf controller and you realize you've got a couple of options. Well, today we're going to talk about two of those options and they're pretty affordable. We're going to go over some of the pros and cons of each one and I'll let you guys decide which one of these you feel like offers the best solution or has the most features that suit your need. So this isn't really going to be a head-to-head versus type, although the title might state that. It's more or less a guide to help you guys figure out if this is one that you want to use or if you want to use one like this specifically. So like I said, I'll walk you guys through each one of them, what the benefits are, what the pros and cons are, and you guys can take a look at that. Now additionally, I have made videos on both of these already in the past. I actually made one on the FPS StrikePack just yesterday. If you guys haven't had a chance to take a look at that, you can go ahead and click up here, go ahead and watch that. And of course, I've already made one on this back in April, which has been a couple of months now, but got a lot of positive comments from you guys as well. So if you want to watch the whole video on how to install all the details of this kind of stuff, you can go ahead and click on that up here as well. All right, so first up, what we're going to look at is the $35 do-it-yourself solution provided by ExtremeRate. This is a custom shell that you purchase from ExtremeRate. You can actually go on Amazon and purchase it, and you'll have to open up your existing DualShock 4 controller and add and do a little bit of modifications to it to get this to work. So you're going to actually be doing some button add in there, you're going to be clipping some stuff on, and if you need to, you might be doing some soldering as well. But let's walk through what are the pros of having a do-it-yourself PS4 Elite controller. Why would someone want to pick this up? So for starters, it's only 35 bucks, guys. That is pretty cheap. If you already have an existing DualShock 4, chances are you probably have the newer one with the light bar in the front, and this will most likely work for that. Another good pro of this controller is that you get multiple color options. So the one that I featured here is the black carbon fiber steel type look. They have some brushed aluminum ones, they've got blue, red, texture grips. So there's a couple of different options based on what you might like, and it might suit you, it might not. Just good to have different choices, always a plus. The third pro, and by far my biggest pro for this device so far, is the fact that it's truly a wireless solution. You don't need to plug in a wire to use this. It's already integrated into your existing DualShock 4, so you're not going to have to extend the cable to the system and make sure that you're programming or doing any kind of mods that way. This just works just like your typical DS4, no needs for wires, it's a full wireless solution. In addition to offering a fully wireless solution, it also does on-the-go programming. So that means that pretty much in the middle of a game, you can activate the sensor that's on the back here to go ahead and put your device into a remap mode or into basically programming mode. You can hold the button of your choice that you want to map and then press the corresponding button that you want to map it to, just like that, and then a light will flash to verify that it has mapped. Now again, this might sound like it's a little bit complicated, but really it's not. Now one of the wonderful things about programming this is the fact that you actually have 4 buttons that you can use. So you've got your 2 ones that are right down here, and then you've got 2 that are up here as well. All 4 of these are great. Personally, I like the bottom 2 ones better because I feel they're more ergonomic, and for me it's a little bit confusing if I'm playing and I need to jump up to the upper ones, but I think that's a learning curve that you'd have to get used to with any custom controller, even ones that have 4 paddles on the bottom. So I'm not going to say that that's a con on this because ergonomically it actually feels very comfortable. It's just a matter of getting a little bit used to it. So you have 4 buttons on this, which is an excellent addition to basically have paddles on a controller. So even though these are not in the form of paddles and they are buttons, they're still giving you 4 options, and it's all integrated within the back of your DualShock 4. Definitely a big pro for this kit. So the last pro for this is that it's not actually a bulky add-on. All you have is 4 buttons that barely protrude from the top of the controller and offer, minimal impact to the profile of the controller. So you end up with a very comfortable experience and no added weight to the controller as well. So I've covered all the pros of the do-it-yourself PS4 Elite controller version kit by ExtremeRate. Let's talk a couple of the cons that come with this. So number 1, the biggest con of this actual kit is the fact that you have to open up your existing DualShock 4 controller and do a pretty complicated install. Now it's not super complicated, but if you're not comfortable working with small, really thin wires and ribbon cables and stuff like that, this is not something I would advise, anyone who's not comfortable doing stuff like that to take on, because more than likely you're going to end up damaging something or messing something up and it's going to cost you a controller. That's definitely a big con, but for people who are a little bit more tech savvy with doing things like that, it should be an easy thing for you guys to get done. The only other con that I have to say about this kit specifically is the fact that it's only compatible with a limited amount of DualShock 4s, and I'll explain that how. It only works with the newer DualShock 4s, which means that they need to have a light bar on the front trackpad. If you don't have that on your current controller, it's not going to work with that. You're going to see when you open up your controller, everything is different inside. It's not going to match. It's not going to line up. So as far as I'm aware, they are only making this kit for the newer ones, which is why it's a limited compatibility. And unfortunately, you can't use this with an older DualShock 4 that you may have from a launch system or a slim system from a couple of years ago. So hopefully ExtremeRate comes up with something so that you can use an older DualShock 4. So now that we've covered this in extensive detail and went through all the pros and cons, let's talk about the FPS StrikePack and see what sets that apart from this, or who that would work for in more specific. So first off, the price of this fluctuates anywhere between 35 and 40 bucks. Depending on when you pick it up, it could be the same price as the do-it-yourself kit, or it could be a little bit more pricey, but it's almost negligible, being that it's within a $5 price difference. In addition to being competitively priced, you do get 2 paddles on the bottom of it, which allow you to remap and change to any button that you want. Definitely a pro and a solution you're looking for when you're trying to get an alternative to a Scuf controller. And you don't need to do any kind of controller modification at all. It's very simple to add on. It literally just clicks on just like this. I'll show you guys. Goes right onto the charging port here, and you plug it into your PS4. Simple as that. No opening up the DualShock, no doing any of that kind of complicated stuff such as you'd have to do with the do-it-yourself kit. Now, what's also cool about this is not only do you get to map these 2 buttons here, or the 2 paddles that are included, you actually get access to programming any one of your buttons by the use of mods. And that's not something that the do-it-yourself kit specifically does. This StrikePack is in a league of its own just for offering this feature set. You can essentially turn the controller into being able to have rapid fire enabled, doing turbo, drop shots, any kind of stuff that you want to use when you're playing first-person games or even MMO games. Another interesting thing you can do is you can actually program 2 buttons to 1 paddle. So for example, if you're playing a fighting game that requires you to press triangle and circle together to grapple somebody, you can program triangle and circle to this 1 button here so that every time you press it, it behaves just like that. That isn't something that you can do with the do-it-yourself kit, so that's definitely a big pro in this, the fact that you have mods and different capabilities to map the existing buttons on the controller that you want and change the settings how you like them. If all that isn't enough, you can actually visit Collective Minds' website and purchase specific game packs that offer mods for a game that you're trying to play. So for example, we all know that Fortnite is very popular, so is the Call of Duty series. If you head over to Collective Minds' website, you can go ahead and grab a game pack for each one, which will automatically program the StrikePack to give you the best experience if you're playing one of those games. So they might have things pre-configured, templates, presets, stuff like that set up for your StrikePack so that you can be more competitive when you're playing those type of games. And the last biggest pro of using the FPS StrikePack is that it doesn't matter what DualShock 4 you're using, it is compatible with every single one from the day 1 launch up until now. There is no compatibility issues. So I've covered all the pros in pretty good detail on the StrikePack, but that doesn't mean that this is the most perfect solution for you. So let's talk about some of the cons that come with the FPS StrikePack. So number 1, this is not a wireless solution. It needs to be wired in. Although it comes with a 10-foot wire, it's still, not my favorite thing, just because of the fact that we are in 2019 and a lot more things are getting wireless, from headphones to all kinds of devices. The fact that we still have products like this that require you to be tethered into your console to work gives it a pretty big con. So I can imagine this being a deal breaker for a lot of people who don't want to have a wired thing going on in their living room, or maybe it's not accessible for them, or 10 foot is not enough, and it's just is not a solution for them to work with. So definitely a big con, the fact that you need a wire to get this to be fully used. Another big con for this is that it does cover up your existing headphone port. Now they've gone ahead to add one inside the StrikePack itself. However, I've heard there are a lot of compatibility issues with certain headsets that you're plugging into this. In cases, this can be a major nightmare. If you're playing a game and you have your headset wired into this and it malfunctions for whatever reason, you're going to lose functionality of everything that you mapped on here, and it might as well just be reset at that point. That is a big con. You don't want to take risks when you are putting specific accessories with your DualShock 4, and you wouldn't want it to be tampered with by an add-on such as the StrikePack. And the last con of this is that the game packs that are being offered by Collective Minds are not actually free and are paid for. So if you do want the latest Fortnite game pack that makes you have a competitive edge against people that you're playing with, you're gonna have to pay for it, which ultimately drives the total cost of ownership of this device up, depending on how you want to use it. But that pretty much covers both of these different alternatives to getting a Scuf. Which one works for you? I would imagine that the person who wants a lot more modifications, a lot more different types of capabilities, would probably want to go for the StrikePack, just because it does give you those kind of additional features that you don't get with the do-it-yourself kit. Someone looking for a more wireless solution with an all-in-one type deal, and getting 4 buttons that you can remap, you may definitely want to go for the do-it-yourself kit. However, the decision lies up to you. I hope this video was helpful in letting you guys make a decision on which kit works for you. Please let me know in the comment section below if this video was helpful. If it was, smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe while you're here. Let me know if you guys have any questions down below in the comment section. I will do my best to go ahead and address them. And that concludes this video. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll see you guys on my next one. Peace out.